In the First Amendment, the Labour amendment that was lost, 608 MPs voted, whereas in this vote, 582 voted, which by my maths means that 26 people who voted in the first vote abstained in the second vote. And I would hesitate a reasonable guess, that those were Conservative MPs. Delighted still to be joined in the studio on my left by Dr. Omar Hamoud Gallego. I'll come back to you in a second. And also Matthew Laza. Matthew, you've got a lot of experience in the politics around this. If my maths are about right, and there's about an extra 26 abstentions, we don't know exactly how many MPs are in the House of Commons, what does that tell you? I mean, when we sort of had a quick guess beforehand, we all three said it would get through, but you didn't expect it to be quite by 44, did you?
No, I thought it would be more kind of 25, 30. So, I mean, he's managed to win a few rounds, but in a sense, for Labour, this is the best possible result, because it ain't over yet. Because remember that we saw Mark Francois speaking on behalf of the 100 or so people who are part of the five families, these 5 tribes of the Tory party on the right, who have said that they're giving him a stay of execution. They would only abstain today, and that they would potentially still vote against.
Or is it the perfect result, actually, for the Prime Minister, in that he's got his various groups, they've all had their say, they've all sort of done their grandstanding, but at the end of the day, he's got the numbers, he can feel strong about that, and he can say to Labour, I've got the votes, this is what, on behalf of the country, this is what needs to happen.
Well, he's still got several parliamentary hurdles to get through, so if this was the end of the process, Rishi may be able to go away and put the...
But it's
I wouldn't even have the champagne on
quite strong
ice.
to the House of Lords, isn't it?
But the issue with the House of Lords on this is that there's such feeling from the crossbenchers, in particular, from all those former lawyers, the bishops and the former bishops, that even if it wasn't for the Labour Party, you'd have trouble in the House of Lords, whatever the Commons say on an issue like this. So it really is still going to be a tough battle for Rishi to get anybody on a plane before the general election, which is his focus. It's not about winning parliamentary votes, because the public, ultimately, the political aficionados are interested in that.
I suspect he's just looking literally day by day, week by week, but actually he is going to get some sleep tonight.
He'll get some sleep tonight, but I'm not sure how much sleep he's going to get over Christmas, because it's all going to come back in the new year.
Don't go anywhere, Matthew. Thank you very much. Omar, that's reasonably comprehensive, 44. I think the Prime Minister can legitimately say this is the will of the House, it's the will of the people through their elected representatives. How do you think the wise folk in the House of Lords, I say optimistically, will respond to that? I mean, it's a fair signal when it goes to the House of Lords, or do you think they might have a very, very different view as Matthew does?
Probably the House of Lords will counteract much of that. The House of Lords cares about human rights, it cares about the rule of law.
We all care about human rights and the rule of law.
Well, if I may, the chairman of the Conservative parties did seem to suggest a few weeks ago that the rule of law it's actually something that we, in this particular circumstance, could actually get rid of.
But this is all about the House of Commons determining what the new laws should be, and we're entitled to change our own laws.
Absolutely, but as I said earlier, even if this passes, it has passed the House, even if it passes the Lords, and we'll see how that goes, it will then be challenged by the courts. And again, I said, even if it goes through the courts, it will be challenged by the European Court of Human Rights, and even if it goes through that, it's not going to work. So all of this just to say this is a massive distraction and it's not going to bring us anywhere.
I guess in summary, everybody, with all this noise and all this confusion and grandstanding, I think all my guests, not a single one of you, think that anybody's going to be sent to Rwanda anytime soon. Do you think any before the general election?
Oh, definitely not.
Definitely not there from Omar. Matthew?
Absolutely not. Maybe a few more Home Secretaries. Maybe a few more Home Secretaries.
A few more Home Secretaries?
Yes, might visit Rwanda, but I don't think an asylum seeker is going to be sent. And in the meantime, the cases pile up and the things that should be done to stop the boats are not happening.
So, folks, there we have it. The government has won that vote. And as Matthew has just reminded me, we have sent 3 Home Secretaries to Rwanda with almost £300 million. It's almost £100 million per Home Secretary. I mean, that in itself feels like a what the Farage...